Hey guys, Mecha-san here. Alright, with the second half of episode 3, Act 1, that's a mouthful, of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Eclipse, the motion manga releasing on Gundam Info. So, let me clarify a few things here. Like, last video I mentioned how it was the clan who helped organize the Break the World incident, but it's been a while since I went through the information here, but after looking back up my archives, it seems no, they were not. Although they knew about it. In fact, it seems that now the major players here, the plant Durandal, Logos with Debril, and Matios, whatever her name is, from the clan, they had nothing to do with it. Look, Debril more than anything here. He had no idea what was gonna happen. But yeah, it's best Durandal and her knew of it, but for the most part, it seems it was just a bunch of Patrick Zala worshippers that just believed in his ideals and everything here. That they were the ones doing it entirely, like a splinter group of Zaft here who were die-hard believers of Patrick Zala's vision, of coordinators being the next evolution and bull crap like that. So, yeah, there's all that here. Now that I got that out of the way, let's go back here. Last episode, last part, they were going about here how mobile suits, even old models, have been just are being like spread out everywhere here. It's like people are getting their hands on this military equipment. How? What's going on here? Well, one of the sorry, but I forgot. I mean, I had the word in my head and I just lost it. I hate when that happens here. Like, you know what you're gonna say here, and everything, but then you forget, like, immediately when you're on camera. But one of the articles within the Treaty of Junior 7 is that all military, from the Alliance, ZAP, and even Orb, well, actually, I don't even know if it's Orb, have to reduce their military, reduce their numbers here, or basically the numbers of mobile suits. Now, at first I thought, okay, that's easy enough. They could just put the excess in storage and everything. And yes, they probably did some of that here. And they even mentioned here how they're supposed to also scrap a number of their suits here. Yes. One fact that I forgot to consider entirely, because I don't know how it slipped my mind here, was how they sold it. They just sold in a third market here. America did this here with their diesel-powered subs. And yeah, and these suits are all being sold on the black market. And yeah, it kind of makes sense here because after the war here, no real side won. It was essentially like a ceasefire, and things returned back to post-pre-war borders and everything like that. So both economies must have been pretty bad. And it costs a lot, and it costs money here just to keep these suits like in storage and keep them adequately maintained here, as well as costs money to scrap suits. So it'd be much better and a bit more profitable to sell these suits, either officially or on the black market, and mostly on the black market here. So it does make sense that they want to sell it here and gain some money back. The weird thing, however, is that according to being their little guy passing the old intelligence here, is that the suits are being sold at rock bottom prices, practically being given away. So that defeats the purpose here, on of like making your money back, trying to make some money back and keep the economy up. Someone wants to entice a war. That's the only obvious. That's the only obvious thing. And we know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen now that anyone can get an old gin for free here, and the fact that you can actually apparently they can buy from off the black market, obviously, an OS program that allows even a natural to pilot what was once a coordinator only mobile suit. Yeah, and let's see the likely corporate, of course, is Zav, and they're wondering if it could be Durandal here, the brand new chairman. So this is something new. He's now just a chairman and everything. And we learned some interesting stuff here, like how he was a member of the Klein faction. Siegel Klein faction, obviously, before everything happened and such here. And yeah, he was also the one that, through his little speech, was able to get Isaac pardon from his war crime of killing all those civilians in the Battle of Orbit. Yeah, apparently after the war, one of the other articles in the treaty here was that each nation will try their own war criminals here. So Isaac was tried by his own military. So yeah, of course he got away with it. Ugh. Bullshit. Yeah, I really don't like Isaac. So now they're negotiating. Could this be Durandal? And given what we know, obviously that's a likely assumption. But I don't know. Durandal, he's difficult. He tries to keep his hands as clean as possible, while obviously wanting to do his whole destiny plan. This bullshit. Let's find out. So yeah, it's very tricky right now. Yeah, the new chairman. Yes, former chairman Kabur was forced to resign as part of the post-war process. This is someone I forgot to search this guy up here, but yeah, that makes sense. After Patrick Zala died in the final battle of Jacking Due, it makes sense that the vice chairman of the plants would take over. And I'm guessing this is the guy. This is the guy here. But yeah, he was forced to resign here because this guy must have been clearly someone from the Zala faction. Yes, and Gilbert Durandal, which is from the Klein faction, so he must have been very popular. But he's a moderate who was once part of he was a moderate. We don't have direct. What about what's more? He's a selfless person, or so the reputation goes. He is thought of as a pacifist, unassociated with greed or self-interest. He is committed to complying with the agenda of peace and cooperation between planets. He has also demonstrated skill as subduing the chaos that reigned within the Federation of Plants Nation under the previous chairman. Thing is, and yeah, this general assessment isn't exactly wrong here, but he's not naive. Yeah, the chaos. Yeah, I gotta wonder how that like that little great schism happened. And then before the war, rumor had that he was a scholar. Okay, I'm so curious about the effect that's happening on the screen right here. That's weird. I'm sorry, people. I don't know why it does that. It's not doing it here on the monitor. The world of plans to have personnel like that waiting in the wings. I can't help but envy them. We're both in the same boat as far as sudden depth of leadership, and yet the gap is huge. Orb has even had to rely on my family. So what? Orb is in a bad Everyone expects big things from the Kyo household. You think so? All right, so I think I remember reading that her family is part of like the noble household or something like that here, but they're probably a bit on the lower standings on a lower household, but whatever. For the kingdom for global inferno. If Orb once again consumed by flames of war, even more people will die. People who don't deserve to die. In Colombia. Okay, so this guy is prisoner now? What they found? Yeah, that's right, because. They were offering to give us refitted M3 units complete with ammunition free of charge? That's all I know. This is interrogation. Alright, so this guy, he was curious about, well, free of charge, but he knew better than to ask questions, so he just took what he got. But they describe themselves as anti-factites. Fake counterfeit. Search Masters Network. I use a clue to search Masters Network, huh? That seemed to fit. And that's why we're looking at Singapore, huh? The former point of strategic importance for trade between the East and West. Yeah, Singapore. With trade with plenty in the war, their economy had been in a deep slump, even compared to other nations in the Equatorial Union. Yeah. Yeah, the Earth Alliance and the Atlantic Federation were trying to cut off any form of economic aid to the plants and everything, even before the war started. There are also several terrorist groups fomenting an armed rebellion against the present government. Typical. Has made contact with one of those groups in an attempt to make a deal. Focus on the deal. In the midst of peace, we can't carry out true. Yeah, exactly. Peacetime. Oh, we need to more tiny step. That's a dangerous bridge to cross. Yep. Our only hope. Look at her. It's more like crawling a circus tightrope. I just seem to have a lot of faith in them. Aww. Seriously? Yeah, barely. Our father, huh? Just where our last hope now. Because Hurt is doing his usual routine, has gone to retrieve him. Okay, where are they? Again? That fool. Okay, so no. So yeah, that not much happened here, but that's okay here. Instead, we're just learning about the situation now that this is peacetime here. As we learn about Durandal there, he is thought of as a pacifist, I think with greed of self-interest. The thing about pacifists is that even they will go to extremes or what they view is the right way when it's really not. Like that's what his old destiny plan is. Which what's never gonna work? What's never gonna work here? Let's not forget the fact that, I don't know, third generation coordinators have trouble giving birth. Yeah, you guys, your science was flawed, your science is still, like, incomplete, so your destiny plan, no, you remove free will. To comply with the agenda of peace and cooperation between, but he wants to do that while he try to do that. He obviously knew better here, and this is nothing new here. Like he still kept building up his military stuff like that because yeah, there was logos. So in a way, he had a justified reason. There was Blue Cosmos and logos were still active here because that's one of the flaws of the Treaty of Junior 7. It did not do anything to dismantle Blue Cosmos. As such, we had, and logos was still there here, which, yeah. But he also subdued the chaos that reigned within the Federation. Yeah, here, there was a Sala faction and there was a Klein faction. We only saw that briefly at the end of the Battle of Joking Due, where a bunch of soldiers came in, essentially like arrested. Like I think it was the Izak's mother was arrested, and that was led by I think Diarca's mother, if I remember right. Yeah, there was that here. So there was indeed a schism. Kind of want to see how that went here. Like, how was that? How did they deal with all these radical Sala factionists that just believed in his ideals and stuff like that? So, granted, considering how they dealt with, I guess they gave him like small pardons or whatever. But yeah, there's that. There's all that here with Durandal. I think also like the Atlantic Federation would have a new president by this point here, but he's just a puppet. And that's the thing here, like no one remembers this. He only know that they rumor that he was a scholar. Yeah, so they don't know that he was like he was a scientist. He was like I think a geneticist. They don't know that fact. Yep. So we'll see how much easier it is, how much more streamlined the process of the political process of the plant is. Where, hey, we had to remove a chairman here. We instantly have someone here ready to take up chair, as opposed to Orb, who, from the looks of things, it's still, I don't know, it still has some problems. Looks like they still haven't fixed up much of the political issue here. We know that they managed to recover thanks to having so many patents to like of their technology and stuff like that, and selling it. So yeah, but that's an economy side and political side. It seems Orb is still trying to get its bearings down, and as such. And now we got mention of the Kyo household here, her house, and the way she talks is that her house is pretty is low on the totem pole of Orb nobility. And then we got this guy here. We had stuff observed die. This guy was being interrogated. I like how he is. Look at like. They just okay. Yeah, okay. He has no idea how the sellers stuff like that. He was suspicious, but given everything they offered and how they offered free of charge, M3 units. Complete with ammunition free of charge. Yeah, when someone can do that here, you don't ask questions. You just take your merchandise and leave here. This is common of any form of weapon sales, actually. Like they I just remember this because I watched the clip of Deep Space Nine with Quark talking to Garrick and talking about how root beer and everything, and he had a line where hey, his cousin sells weapons, but weapon business it's impersonal. Like they just want their merchandise and leave, no questions asked. And yeah, that's how you do things here. And the fact that these people are giving this guy mobile suits with a working OS, complete with ammunition, with practically free of charge. Yeah, you don't ask questions. You don't ask questions, but you do keep an ear open. And this guy, They're anti. Okay, fake counterfeit. Okay, fake counterfeit here. It's a oxymoron, but it is true. Masters network here. So yeah, looks like the Kyo household. If I'm guessing this right here, the Kyo household is who runs Ord. Which, by the way, yeah, we did learn more about Ord here and how they were restructured after the war and everything. And it seems that they're like the information intelligence network of Orb, or something like that here. And here we got to learn about Singapore here. I like how we were learning about these various areas on Earth here and what part they played. And yes, it seems Orb was in trade with the planets, so they had a trade agreement going on there. And we know that was a thing here. I think Africa or South America or some place like that here, they also were having trade here, shipping food and whatnot. But then Earth Alliance stepped in, the Atlantic Federation, and decided, no one on Earth is applying those genetic monsters or whatever bullshit. So, again, this makes sense. This makes sense. After they lost their means because of the Alliance, and their economy fell. The Blue Cabo didn't care. And now this is over here, but yeah, shouldn't trades be going back? I guess yeah, trades should be. Trades have not restarted again here, as they're still sorting things out in plants. But yeah, eventually the plants should commence trade with various countries of Earth, various nations. And so yeah, now we see like those two are doing something, and we're gonna find out what next episode. So overall, it's an interesting little world building arc here as they pretty much discuss what's happening, what's happening, everything like that here. What's the situation and everything at this point in time, and what they're doing to make it so that this 2 year peace lasts as long as it does here. Even though we know that, yeah, like armed rebellions are popping up here, and that's also something that happened. Like the Ashtray mangas really touch on this here, where we had rebel groups, insurrections, and small civil conflicts happening across various parts of the planet. And now we're seeing that possibly the people responsible for that. So cool. So cool overall and interesting. As a Gundam fan who just dissects every bit, takes what I can, as well as mobile suits here, because I'm not gonna let those Gundams die, just be forgotten floating there in a wreck. Or, I mean, they just got a nice little standoff here. But now it remains I use it as a playground, so I had to take extra caution when I swipe that thing. Oh, well, so yeah, everyone, thank you for watching. So yeah, overall, this is nice here. Thank you for watching. As always, comment about what you all thought. Like, subscribe for more videos. Till next one, this is Mecha-san, logging out.